E aí, Noyers, aqui é a Camila Frender do É Noia Minha. Eu tô participando do Amigo Secreto de Podcasters do TikTok. E sabe quem que eu tirei? Natália Souza, do Para Dar Nome às Coisas. Meu presente é um livro que tá bombando no TikTok. É O Avesso da Pele, do Jefferson Tenório. Uma história linda sobre a complexidade das relações humanas.
O TikTok esse ano fez milhões de pessoas voltarem a ler. Um simples TikTok pode gerar um grande impacto. Descubra livros incríveis e muito mais no TikTok.
O que você ama em uma universidade? Aprender na prática com grandes empresas? Conviver com pessoas que mudam o mundo? Ou estudar em uma estrutura com padrão internacional? Na Anhembi Morumbi, tudo isso acontece. Venha descobrir por que milhares de alunos amam estudar aqui. Acesse anhembi.br e faça sua matrícula. Amo é Anhembi Morumbi. Aqui tudo acontece.
Today on CityCast Denver, we're looking back at the news of the week, from the fate of those 2 decrepit old mansions on Colfax to the latest push to limit gas stations, this time in Lakewood. But really, this is the last new episode before our holiday break, and we've got an old friend of the show on with us to have a good time. Happy holidays. Watch out for some explicit language. Hope you enjoy the show. Today is Friday, December 20th. I'm Paul Caroli, and here's what Denver's talking about. All right, welcome back to CityCast Denver, the show about the city where police have showed up to a Castle Rock home 8 times this December on calls complaining that their Christmas lights display is, quote, too bright, according to 9 News.
Yep.
This is a real thing that's happening in Castle Rock. I guess Denver did bring the outdoor Christmas lights tradition into this world, and by God, we can take it out too.
Yeah.
How bizarre is that? 8 times the police are showing up to this house.
I mean, yeah. I think if you're calling the police 8 times, you probably should take matters into your own hands.
Mm-hmm.
Such as like going to cut some cords
like
and
Batman.
stuff. But
Start
like
some kind of Christmassy
you really
prank
think the
war.
cops are going to do something? Come on.
I mean, they're showing up to this house on these calls.
But it's still bright 8 times.
I guess so. I looked at the pictures. It didn't look that bright. It seems like these neighbors have some problems.
Maybe it's shining right in their window.
You
That
think
happened
that's what
to me
the cops
once.
told them?
That happened to me at my old apartment. They installed a floodlight that went directly into my window when I was trying to sleep at night.
Horrible.
And then somebody unscrewed the bulb, and then they reinstalled it.
Somebody, quote unquote.
Somebody, who knows?
Uh-oh. Well, it's Friday. We're rounding up the news of the week. We're here in the beautiful 5280 Magazine studios. Our host, Bree Davies, is off. She'll be back in the new year. I've got a couple of great guests with me today. You've heard their voices. Producer Olivia Jewel Love. Hey.
Good morning, everyone.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
And also joining us, returning guest. You know him from the stages of Denver's best stand-up comedy clubs. You know him from his podcast, Left Hand, Right Brain, and from this show, where he's opined on ice cream and tourist traps and other things.
I went to the whiskey tasting thing way back in the
Oh,
day. I went
yeah.
to Casa Bonita and I
That's a
talked to
deep cut.
Feliz Navidad, Denver. All right, how you doing?
Hey, JD
Hello,
Lopez
everybody.
is back. Hey,
Yes,
JD.
nice to be here. Always a treat.
JD, are you feeling in the Christmas spirit?
I am. I'm wearing a Christmas hat just like you, Paul. We're going to have to fight it out
Christmas
for
hat.
Santa dominance.
Who will be the
after this.
Santa?
Yeah.
We can all be Santa.
There can only be one.
I'm the star on the top of the tree.
Yes, and she's got a star.
This is kind of a Christmas special, I think.
It is. I am feeling Christmassy because I brought Christmas presents for the both of you.
Oh my God.
Both of me?
Yep, Olivia and Paul. And
my
Bree's
God.
on the naughty
I
list,
know
I
what
guess,
this
that she
is.
didn't
I
get
know
here.
what this is,
Yeah,
feeling
well,
it.
I know. We're
do
talking
you
about
know?
it all the time.
Because I already
Go
know
ahead.
what it is, feeling it.
She's addicted already.
Oh God.
I got us all Zyns. I've never done it before. And I thought we could all do it today
Oh,
together.
God.
Hot debate on the podcast. I do want to share with you guys. I put one in before the podcast.
An upper decker?
and It was, wow. I got a head rush like crazy. Don't do it while you're driving if you've never experienced it. I thought
Man.
I was going to pass out.
That's what I've heard about it. My brother-in-law
This
did
is so
these
funny.
once, and he was like, it knocked
My
me out.
brother.
I
I
have
mean,
to
it was
say-
more than I expected.
Yeah,
How
I
much
have
do
to
they
say,
cost?
Yeah.
I mean, no, I meant the nicotine rush
Oh,
was more than
okay.
I expected.
Okay,
Guys, let's
yeah.
not talk about money. That's gauche.
Well, I gotta say, so my boyfriend is a
Ooh, boyfriend.
yeah, wow, I got a boyfriend. Crazy.
Comedy or gossip podcast.
He does these. His criticism of this, I could tell, would be 3 milligrams?
Well,
You didn't spring for the 6?
I want to get the lowest dosage because I knew it could be a little much. And we're all noobs, okay? I've taken, nootropics before, but not nicotine like this. So I've never, it was my first foray. And like
Should we
I
do, like,
said,
an
it is
ASMR?
yeah, you can.
Can you hear him?
I'm kind of scared of this, JD. I don't know if I'm going to do this.
Go ahead, Paul. I'm going to be doing nice ASMR sounds.
I'm going to smell him.
I'll open it up. So you brought this in because we've been talking on the show about this recent story in the news. The Denver City Council have voted.
Yeah. And I've been giving you shit nonstop
yeah.
about it.
I thought
I've
you
been
were a
getting
nicotine
texts.
guy.
I mean, I was pro nicotine because I'm pro, supplements and
Crack?
things that, nootropics, really, things that could help my brain function.
So are you functioning at really high brain power right
can't
now
you tell?
after this
Can't you
Zyn?
tell? I'm riding a high right now, okay? And it's
So,
not just because of the Celsius
Wait,
I
I have
drank
a fun
before this.
fact about Zyns I can share. I don't know how to do it, but apparently there's a little thing in the top lid that you can open to store your used ones in
Oh, that's
if you're not near a trash
Yeah,
can.
nice of them to
I haven't
do.
found that.
If you're not near a trash can. So
Yeah, I did have it in longer than I wanted to because there wasn't a trash can where I parked. So I had it in longer than because it is strong. It's intense.
they're very minty smelling.
It does not taste like it you'd think. So I don't think children would be addicted. I mean, I didn't like it. So,
It's very
to be honest, I wasn't crazy about it.
I don't know.
so
They're interesting to me because
I want the audience to know they've all been trying to open their Zyn cartridges for the last 5
Baby's
minutes.
first Zyn. I'm glad you got me wintergreen because that's like the
I
best.
saw it
that's
you.
Christmassy.
I saw Wintergreen, and I
Wintergreen?
thought Olivia Jewell.
Yeah,
She's
but
from the mountains.
I gotta say these are interesting because, like I said, my partner uses something very similar to this. He used to use Zyn, and I don't know about everyone else, but he will like put one in and then drink a beer. He'll like put one in. He'll put one
Boyfriend's
in.
a rowdy guy, man. Jeez.
Yeah, he's also really hot. But anyway,
Congratulations. Show us pictures.
but it's
Follow
like,
her online. See your hot boyfriend.
yeah.
Go ahead. Just try it. Just pop it in your mouth. I don't care
think
if you
I
spit
can.
it out
I've literally.
immediately.
Wait, here's a fun fact. I've never used nicotine ever. I've never hit
that's
a
what I
vape.
was saying.
I've never hit a vape.
You never smoked a cigarette?
No.
Wow, what a good. Wow.
I smoked a cigarette once when I was in Europe.
I'm very anti-cigarette. I grew up.
Just pop it in for a
Yeah.
second. See what it tastes like, Paul.
Yeah, I want Paul to do
You
it.
could immediately pop it out. Who cares?
He's doing it. Wait, you're supposed to put
You
it in your
got a
gum. Don't
citrus
just
vape.
put it in your tongue. Put it in
Yeah,
one
you're
of your.
supposed to put it in your gum
Put
and
it in
let
your
it.
lip. Put it in. Don't chew it, Paul.
Paul.
I think I'm done with this.
What did it taste
All
like?
right, well,
It tasted vaguely lemony.
I got him a citrus flavor because he hates Christmas.
Well, that's very nice of you, JD. Thank you
You're
for the
welcome.
gifts. The news was Denver City Council voted 11-1 to ban these flavored tobacco products. The mayor has yet to decide. We got to get to the rest of the news.
I was gonna say I don't think children would be into this at all. Just so you know.
I don't either. I guess teens like it. We got other stuff to talk about today. Number one item of business. We're hiring. There's a link in the show notes to a listing for a job for a temporary newsletter writer to fill in for our newsletter editor, Peyton, who is going on maternity leave next year. Yes. So if you love Denver and you're a great writer, please apply or tell your friends.
Or if you want to eat lunch with me on Thursdays,
Hey, that's another perk.
you're buying.
Also, we do this cool thing at CityCast where we ask all of our guests for some like simple demographic information, and then at the end of the year we collect it all together and then we publish it. Not everybody in this industry does it, but we think it's important to make sure that we stay accountable to our values and make sure we're reflecting the diversity of the city. So we are delighted to be publishing that today. That's also in the show notes. This year, I think we did a little bit less well than last year. We under-indexed in Hispanic and Black guests. We over-indexed on Pacific Islander and Native American guests and white guests. We also over-indexed on men, but also on trans and non-binary guests. So interesting data.
Over-index is what you just said.
Yeah, well, we had a little bit more. Our proportion of the guests who represented those groups were a little bit higher or a little bit lower than the metro areas.
What are you going to do with this information?
Well, we're going to learn from
Sell
it.
it to
It's
the
power.
highest bidder?
And think about it for next year as we think about how we're talking about stories that are important to people in the city.
You're gonna stay woke.
Yeah, maybe start something in Spanish if you want more Hispanic listeners.
Maybe. We'd love to. I mean, that's the kind of thing that costs a lot of money. We're a small team, but we'd love to do
You
it.
could become a member today to support that dream.
Membership.citycast.fm. That link's in the show notes as well.
Yeah, I want a handbag. I've been hearing about these
It's a
handbags.
tote with a zipper, but anyway.
What's the difference?
You too. You two really
She's all
got the
zinned
Christmas
up now.
spirit.
She wants to get
I'm
rowdy.
not
I'll
zinned
get
up.
rowdy. All right.
For the record, I am not zinned
You
up.
want to get crazy? I'll get crazy. I've had 3 milligrams of nicotine.
Let's get to the news. Our first
Finally.
topic, we're just going to touch this briefly because we've talked about it a lot all year, but there was a development. JD requested the opportunity to discuss this. Tuesday night, 19 people entered an apartment at the Edge of Lowry apartment complex in Aurora. This is one of the places that was allegedly taken over by the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua. 2 people were reportedly bound, pistol whipped, and threatened and tortured for hours. Really horrible crime. The Aurora PD confirmed it was gang related. I don't think anyone's confirmed it was Tren de Aragua yet. I don't know. JD, what, you wanted to talk about this?
Well, I watched the full interview with the Aurora police chief on YouTube, and I just thought it was interesting how he was really committed to helping everybody in the community. You know, he was trying to make it clear that, like, even though Venezuelans were the victims, but they should encourage everyone to come forward, and that they were going to do their best to help everybody. So that was nice.
Yeah.
I thought that was good.
Yeah, I think we're hearing the right things from that new police chief over there.
Yes.
I forget his name right now, but he's a new
Yeah,
guy.
sorry,
They've had
I
like
was-
6 chiefs in the last 5 years. It probably helped contribute to the problems that we've been seeing. I don't know. I mean, it's not like no one has ever been saying there's no gang issues at these apartments. It's just that, like, when you talk about it as if it's a Venezuelan gang and making this about immigration. that
Sounds like
we've
a
seen
Denver
and-
gang.
Every big city's got gang issues. You know, every big city's got hot spots for gang activity, and this just happens to be where ours is right now. They're just making it a hot topic about immigration and stuff, and that's just like, you know, it's gone on, you know, nationally about.
I mean, it's out of control.
Scapegoat
Yeah.
type thing.
I still
And that's a
wonder
shame
what the Trump
that
administration is going to
everybody's
do
using
about it.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Charlie Kirk was saying, like, his comment, this is some right-wing commentator, if you're not familiar, but he was saying, like, the Trump administration should set up a HQ in Aurora, ground zero for the
Where do you think
immigration.
they'll put that? Next to
know.
the bun and butter?
I don't know. You know, I did see Kelly Brough, the former mayoral candidate. She's now taken over she took a
apartment
new
complex?
job. Yeah, she's the developer basically. She's taken over her own apartments. No, but she's running a big new development that's happening in Aurora. So
Okay, interesting.
Well,
I don't
we'll
know.
see. Stay safe.
maybe they'll find some office space there. Anyway, let's get to our top story this week. I thought this was just a fascinating story. Eager to talk about this with you two because it's the latest battle in Denver's forever war between old and new. On Tuesday, the Landmark Preservation Commission ruled on the fate of those 2 decrepit old mansions on Colfax, 1600 and 1608 East Colfax, I think there's the addresses. Do you all know them? Let's talk about these.
Basically, they're 2 really old mansions, and they're pretty dilapidated. I think they might be on the list of the decrepit and dilapidated. Are those
They
the
are.
right words?
They are. It was in
Councilwoman
one of
Amanda
the-
Sawyer's new
Yeah,
thing.
so they're old mansions, and then actually in March they caught on fire, and so now they're also charred, old, boarded up mansions.
Yeah, just like they've been kind of empty for a long time, and it looks like at one point they were beautiful. I think it was 130 years ago,
Yes.
according to the Wyman Historic District bio that I read, but they were built like before the silver crash when the streetcar was running up and down Colfax, and I'm sure they were
amazing.
lovely then, but now they're not looking so hot. And anyway, the drama is this week, according to the Denver Post, the building's owner, Pando Holdings, initially wanted to use parts of these 2 buildings, but convert them into retail with 7 stories of apartments in the back. But the Denver Post reported that the permitting process took so long and that there were squatters, and then the squatters started that fire that you mentioned, Olivia, and then building costs kept going up because of the pandemic, because of inflation, et cetera, et cetera. The developer decided that they'd prefer to just knock them down and start again. That's when Historic Denver stepped in and said, no, we need to preserve these because it's in this historic district. That led to a decision this week from the Landmark Preservation Commission. Olivia, tell us what went down.
They decided on Tuesday, the Landmark Preservation Commission, they decided on Tuesday to go ahead with the green light to demolish these buildings. And so it's kind of interesting because, like, you see these decrepit buildings. People are saying that they're a hotspot for, like, crime, squatters, you know, people loitering, hanging out. The neighborhood's not enjoying that for the most part. But then you get this other side from, like, John Deffenbaugh, who we had on the show a few weeks ago, from
CEO of Historic
from
Denver.
Historic Denver. And he said in a quote in this Denver Post article that these buildings are the last remaining historically protected large homes on East Colfax. So, like, apparently these are, like, the last of their kind. And they're messed up, but they're the last ones.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I see the argument for that. But the main thing that was striking me about this is that the developers like looking at, okay, how much is it going to cost to really like keep these kind of intact and use them? And at this point, after all this like crap these buildings have been through, it's going to be like $12 million to fix them up. And then they said they could only like sell them for like $4 million. So it's a huge loss.
Yeah, it's just like money. Not an economically
no,
viable
it doesn't make
project
sense
at all.
Economically, but historic Denver is like, this is the character of old Colfax, old Denver, and it's the last ones we have left. So those are kind of the two sides.
I mean, I was just thinking, are we in a housing crisis and they're fighting to preserve these burnt down houses? Like what makes something a historic district? I was looking that up and it said something about recognizing its cultural and architectural significance and known for its historic charm. But it's like, there's none of that now. I mean, there's no charm to a burned down building. The people in the community don't want it.
At one point they were,
why are we
though.
hanging? Yeah, at one point, sure. We all
And I think that's what they're hanging on to, it seems like. And also, here's the real kind of argument that Deffenbaugh explains is like, if we let developers just knock down these buildings, that's kind of opening a whole new can of worms for like, a precedent set of historic buildings. So now they've got this example like, oh, we were able to just knock these down, even though they were historically protected. His argument is kind of like, that's going to just open the floodgates to them being able to do whatever they want. So...
slippery slope argument.
Yeah,
huh?
It is. So
I don't think the next step is knocking down the Molly Brown house or anything. I think these are burnt down and we should get rid of them.
What do you think about his case, though? Like 6 months ago, this went before the commission previously. And at that time, interestingly, the commission voted unanimously to reject the demolition request. And at that time, Deffenbaugh was like, the developer was seeking demolition through neglect. He made the case that the owners allowed these properties to get so decrepit so they could justify the demolition.
Oh.
And the owners is just like a financial group. So it's not like one person who's like going to be out of a home or whatever. It's like a company who just wants to develop.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a main guy who runs this company, but they definitely want to like build this new project.
He's arguing that they've like found a loophole by just letting this place go to crap. Then they can finally do what they want. Well, I mean, shit, that's kind of shady.
Maybe, yeah, because he was pointing out like when Tom's Diner, when there was no businesses there, the owner of that property was still checking on it every day, still making sure that it wasn't, getting busted into by squatters or having people set fires on it. Here, I think it's a different kind of property. It seems like a lot harder to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no insurance on it, so when it got burned or anything, so there's no they're not trying to collect the insurance money or anything like that, but the demolition thing seems shady.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know, though,
that
that's their motive. That's just a hypothesis.
Yeah, that was his argument 6 months ago. The other interesting thing I thought here was that 6 months ago, like I said, the commission voted unanimously to reject the demolition request. But then what changed this time, I checked in with our friend Frank Locantori at the Colfax Avenue bid. He said what changed this time was that the developer appealed on the grounds of the economics of the project. Like last time, they didn't consider the money at all. This time they did, and it was an opposite result. And I just thought that was an interesting thing. Like, I wonder if that has happened before in the past arguments over Tom's Diner and all these other like historic preservation fights we've had, if we're considering it that holistically.
It was also interesting to me because when they said this kind of like, economic pit that this would be essentially for saving it, John Deffenbaugh kind of countered and was like, oh, it's not going to nearly cost that much. Like he estimated that it would be like half the cost.
Do you have any opinions on that? Like I know you've talked about your family and construction in the past on the show.
I don't know his background, so I don't want to say that like, he has no idea how to estimate property or anything, because like I don't know. But like that seems like kind of a wild thing to say without like bringing the receipts to me. Like just
there's
saying
a lot of hearsay
that it's just like a kind of like a
forth.
he said, she said thing. He's like, oh, well, it's going to be half that. And it's like, do you have, and maybe he does have receipts, but this article didn't have the receipts.
Right.
So I don't know. It's interesting. And it's also like, I honestly would expect the opposite. It seems like a lot of times when you go into big projects like these, there end up being a lot of hidden costs and things that, the contractor didn't expect. And so like, it seems really, it would be like best case scenario if they were under budget, but like it seems really
when does that happen?
Really unlikely, especially in something like this where they don't really know, kind of the state of what they need to do in there. So
Who knows? You pull up a board, you find some black mold. And you got a
there's
whole nother
certainly
thing.
mold in there. Certainly.
Yeah, it's like, who gets the bill for that? Who's going to pay? Is Historical Denver? They mentioned something about trying to get grants and stuff, but I mean, is that like?
Yeah, that's the other thing on the preservationist side is like you can only do so much. You can make the case for preservation, and then there's a legal framework around this commission where that the city has some leverage to like protect some buildings, but like they don't put up the money. You can't. I mean, maybe they can go find some good-hearted developer who would love to sink in $8 million of pure loss to restore the buildings.
But then it's like, they said 7 floors of apartments. So it's like, then we're not even going to get that, and we already have a housing shortage. So
we're in
it's
a housing
like,
crisis.
how can you justify that when it's like there's an opportunity to add this much housing right in the poppin' area of the city?
And I was talking to my wife, and she was like, well, we could never afford to live in that neighborhood. My wife and I got priced out of Denver a long time ago. We live in Lakewood now. And, we're constantly talking about like, oh, should we buy a house? Things like that. And that's just like not an option for us over there. And if they had mixed use, more apartments, or other things, we could maybe be able to move into a neighborhood like that when there's more housing.
Yeah.
Just to be in the city,
Yeah.
Things like that. I don't know.
No, it's a hard balance though, because I think the preservationists would say like the reason why that neighborhood is valuable is because of things like historic mansions, these like unique features of these neighborhoods that people love.
But no one loves it. The neighborhood wants to get rid of it. Yeah. No one likes it.
I think this one's kind of just like a precedent setter. Again,
if it's
at this
the Molly
point,
Brown house,
they're like, if we let them do this, then they could do it to any of the pretty houses, So
at this point.
I think that's kind of where the argument is at this point.
I think if the neighborhood cares enough, then they speak up about it. Like I said, I keep bringing up the Molly Brown house, but I love it. So nobody's going after that because the neighborhood loves it.
You're going out with a pitchfork if someone comes for the Molly Brown house?
Yeah, I'm going to be out there, hold my own with a pack of Zins, and
come and take it.
Yeah.
Come and take it.
Yeah.
Do you have one, Olivia? Is there a building or is there a place in Denver where you'd be like, absolutely not?
Oh gosh,
don't take the original Chipotle. That's mine. Don't take it from me. It has
they
to
already
stay.
took.
Where's it located?
It's on Evans.
They already took the original Quiznos. So what do I have left? I don't know.
Thank God we have the munificence of the beauty supply store that's in there now.
It's got the ghost. It's got the ghost of the Quiznos letters behind their sign.
Such a weird spot now.
Yeah, I don't know. I really like all the like old houses in Baker and stuff. So I would be sad if those were gone. If we just made a bunch of like really sad beige houses, I wouldn't like that.
Yeah.
But I think that's
all right. Well, let us know. I mean, we'd love to hear from you. Tell us what you think about these 2 old mansions. What did we miss? What are we not thinking about? And also, what's the building that would get you out in the street with a pitchfork to defend it?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Call in the Pitchfork hotline, 720-500-5418. Again, leave us a name, your neighborhood, text a voicemail, 720-500-5418. I think the Zyn is affecting me a little bit. I'm feeling it.
Yeah.
Maybe it's psychosomatic, but
he's also drinking coffee and eating a donut. None of that could be happening. Sugar and
these
caffeine
are
addictive, but
these are healthy drugs.
But
good for
nicotine.
me.
Yeah.
We're going to go to a quick break and come back, talk about gas stations.
Estou passando nesse podcast para dividir uma informação que fez toda a diferença na minha vida. Quer fazer pós-graduação, mas tá impossível correr de um lugar para o outro?
Pois é, ainda mais com o trânsito.
Então você precisa conhecer a educação à distância do Senac. Sabia que é nota máxima no MEC? E tem diversos cursos de pós-graduação para te levar ainda mais longe. 100% online, sem necessidade de TCC e com acesso direto a todos os professores.
Ah, saber isso fez diferença sim.
Inscreva-se já na pós-graduação EAD. Quer saber? Senac EAD.
Isso não é um lançamento de notebook. Esse é o seu lançamento. Os AI PCs da Lenovo com processadores Intel Core Ultra 9 aprendem com você e personalizam as necessidades do seu negócio, permitindo que os seus dados fiquem sempre protegidos. Essa é uma das várias soluções para ajudar você a ser mais você. Saiba mais em www.lenovo.com/IA para você.
All right, we're back. We're having a laid-back Christmas show talking about gas stations. That's our hot topic today.
Where do you think I got these Zyns?
Oh,
Shout out
look
Colfax
at you.
and Kipling. I had plenty of
Shout out
opportunity.
gas stations.
Well, we're talking about it again because new proposals in both Lakewood and Denver are advancing to, quote, severely restrict the number of gas stations. According to the Denver Post this week, the Lakewood proposal is going to go a little bit further if they pass it. At least that's where it's at right now. It's also going to go after car washes. That passed an initial vote earlier this month. The Denver proposal has been in the works for a while. We've talked about it before. There'll be a link in the show notes to our previous coverage. But that one passed the planning board this week with a unanimous vote. It's going in front of City Council in January. Olivia, what's the background here? What do we need to know?
So kind of the gist here is that the ban is going to ban new gas stations built within half a mile of existing gas stations in Lakewood.
Mm-hmm.
And then that same parameter is going to apply to car washes because they're saying that they're, dirty, a huge waste of water, just like not doing great.
Mm-hmm.
And then also another part of this for Lakewood, Lakewood just doing the most. But the new gas stations, if you do happen to get to build a new gas station, which obviously they're trying to lower that number, you have to include 3 electric vehicle chargers at your gas station. And one of them has to be the fastest technology, the lightning charger.
The super fast?
Yeah.
That matters.
Does it?
I think I've talked about this on the show before, but I rented an electric vehicle over the summer. I was going to a wedding in Northern Virginia, and some of those chargers are slow. We were there for 36 hours for this wedding, and 3 of them were spent waiting for the car to charge.
Jeez.
And it was not fun. JD, what do you think about this proposal? You're a Lakewooder.
Yeah, I live in Lakewood. I work for the Access-A-Ride buses, so I'm constantly driving around, and I love a good gas station bathroom. That's a prized thing. It's a oasis in the desert out there sometimes. Maverick's pretty good right now.
Is Maverick the one who's got the
Maverick's good.
Give us your power rankings.
Maverick's good. If you can get to a Quick Trip, they're even better.
Oh, Quick
Love Quick Trip.
Just because they're newer, I think, they're,
Quick
That's what it's all about.
They just got high standards at Quick Trip.
No one's kicked down the door yet to the toilet.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, is that something that happens in men's bathrooms?
Yeah, it doesn't happen in women's?
No. We don't do that there. We're putting on makeup and hanging out and telling secrets. We don't pee.
Ooh, wow, that sounds so...
It's really
way
fun.
cooler than what's happening in the guys' ones. But you could say I'm a gas station aficionado.
Okay.
But I also, you brought up the electric chargers. I mean, wasn't there that one in Sloan's Lake where some guy was murdered not too long ago?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Do you think that
couple
could
of
be
Tesla owners.
a problem with the new
You're
electric vehicle?
worried about the...
Wait,
I mean,
what?
no one's
I
getting
don't
shot over
remember.
gas. All right, that's all I'm saying.
Oh,
I bet there are,
if someone
actually.
if
Yeah,
someone takes your
probably.
charger, you go apeshit? Is that what
don't
we're
know
implying?
exactly.
That's the implication, JD's.
Okay.
Yeah, he's
I
connecting
mean,
some
maybe they
dots
should
here.
have more than 3. It didn't say you can't have more.
I think
Maybe it did. I don't think so, though.
Didn't they say they're trying to future-proof some of this stuff? But with the electric vehicles being so popular here in Colorado, they're hedging their bets, I guess, with the gas and the electric vehicles.
I mean, that's the whole, like I was alluding to with this trip in Northern Virginia, the whole problem with electric vehicles right now is if you want to go somewhere you're not super familiar with, it's a hassle to plan out where am I going to charge? Is this charger busy? And so more of those chargers available means it'll be easier and friendlier place for people to buy them and you drive them.
I found out something it was crazy to me. Maybe it's not crazy to anyone else about EVs because my friend recently purchased an EV. And so I was talking to him about it, because he drove from Kansas City to here, long drive with his EV. But this is the part that blew my mind. And maybe this is just common sense. But you know how if you run out of gas in your car, you can just go get a gallon of gas and put it in and then kind of limp it to the gas station type of thing?
Yeah.
If you have an EV and it runs out of battery, you're just shit out of luck. That's what he told me. He said, because he has a Tesla. And so apparently if he were to run out of gas, i.e. his battery, just in the middle of the street, he would have to pay to get it towed to somewhere. So it's no longer just the cost of a can of gas and the walk of shame. It's no, you got to pay for a tow.
I wonder why they don't sell a emergency battery pack.
And maybe
or
they
something.
do. Maybe he just doesn't know yet because he's too new. But that was a thing I heard. And also, if you don't have one, it's not like you can just go buy one probably at Quick Trip. I mean, you can just go buy a can of gas at Quick Trip, but can you buy a electric vehicle charger? I don't know.
Battery?
I don't know.
Maybe.
It seems unlikely.
I mean, that's the kind of thing that Quick Trip is uniquely good at, though, is
True.
detecting what the market wants and providing it and selling it to people.
It can't be cheap though. One of those wouldn't be cheap.
No, it would not.
At least not right now.
Yeah, and I heard that with the Teslas, when they run out of battery, the windows go up and the doors lock. So you might
No
not
way.
Yeah, I've heard of guys not being able to get out.
What if your baby
or get
was in
back
there?
That's a problem.
Trouble.
It is trouble.
So we've been talking about Quick Trip. This I thought was super interesting. This is from the Denver Post article about the planning board meeting in Denver here about this proposal. Apparently they had a representative there to push back against the proposal. And this person warned against, quote, unintended consequences, including price inflation due to decreased competition. So I remember when we talked about Quick Trip coming in initially, their whole strategy was going into these hot spots and undercutting prices, which drove Denverites nuts. And it created these like long lines at Quick Trips because people love cheap gas. Do you all think that this argument might be persuasive to Denverites?
I mean, when you bring up the rising costs, I mean, people listen for sure. But right now we have 3 gas stations on the corner of Colfax and Kipling. I mean, I don't know if there's no one lined up around the corner to get, to the cheapest one there. I mean, people just go to what they're familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
But have you ever been to like the Costco gas
I have.
area?
I go there quite a bit.
That's
My wife will go out
crazy.
of our way to go to that one because she knows it's the cheapest gas.
Yeah, it's a crazy. I mean, you'll wait in line a long time.
Yeah,
there.
that's a long line.
It's a big deal. Cheap gas matters.
Cheap gas is,
It does.
things are only getting more expensive.
I don't know. I think about this. We talked about this like a while back in a conversation, and we were kind of talking about the other purposes gas stations serve other than just providing gas, cheap or not. I mean, just like what JD was saying, a bathroom, it's one of the like last places that has a bathroom
And
you can use.
sometimes they won't even let you do it. They're like, no,
You gotta
it
look-
closes at 7.
No, if you
or-
look really desperate, they'll let you in.
Not for me. I don't know. Maybe we have different experiences.
Bat your eyelashes and say, I'm going to poop
I'm
myself.
like, I'm about to piss my pants. Come on, guy.
They'll feel bad for you.
These guys, I'm going into 7-Elevens at 11 at night. They're jaded to the world. They're like, I don't feel bad for you. Go figure it out.
But I mean, it's another place where you can also, it's like, they've got quick snacks and little things you can get. Like if a restaurant's not open, it's like one of those places that's kind of like a all the time access point for a lot of different things.
And increasingly, they're doing fresh food. Like that's one of the
they
best
have, like,
things Quick Trip
bananas
does.
and
They have a whole menu you
the
can
Quick
order
Trip
from
hot
someone.
pretzel.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
It's too intimidating. I don't do that one. I'll just go to a 7-Eleven, get some sushi,
No.
and get out of there. Grab a Philly roll. Because after 10, I mean, those are really your places for getting something to eat or something to drink for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not a lot of late night
But
spots.
yeah, so it's not just gas. I mean, there is other things.
It's also a lot of those places are like, I know Quick Trips are like safe haven spots. So like if you're a kid who's separated from your parents, or if you're someone, experiencing like domestic violence or something, it's like supposed to be a safe spot. Like a lot of them are.
I'd never heard this. So
Yeah.
I
I don't know this either.
I
Where
just
you
knew,
heard this?
I just knew this because they built a Quick Trip by my high school when I was like in the
Quick
middle
Trip,
of
man.
high
They
school.
out there.
It was like probably the best thing that could have happened to all of us because we would go during lunch. Anyway, they just had a sign outside that said Safe Haven, and it's like, it's also one of those places like if you find a baby or something, it's like, yeah, it's like
Who hasn't found a
This
baby?
is blowing my mind
At a
right
gas
now.
yeah, so like a lot of, and also I don't know. I mean, a lot of them. Quick Trip is like, I feel like definitely a different tier. It's a much more like friendly,
Right under Buc-ee's.
never seedy. Just always kind of like good stuff's going on there. So like it makes
Good
sense.
stuff.
I think I like Quick Trip. All right,
People are treated well.
we heard from Josh.
He was telling me about like some employee competition. If you like pass like inspections on like safety and cleanliness and stuff, that you get entered into competitions to win a trip to Hawaii.
Wow.
You get like vacations if you're like the best employee in your region or something. That's how they.
I just remember going to that new Quick Trip in high school, and I handed them my card to pay for whatever weird snack I was getting during lunch, and my card had a giant fake eyelash attached to it, and I just handed it to the guy, and he was like, "Ugh." And I'm like, I'm so sorry.
Thought it'd be fun if we just did a quick round of, name that gas station. So we just go around and keep naming gas stations till one of us can't.
Okay.
And then we'll just keep going. So
I'm kind of afraid to
Paul,
name the
you
one
wanna
I'm
start?
thinking of because last time
Why?
I said it out loud, Olivia, you were like, "Is that how you say that?"
Oh, I'm
and
thinking
now
of this-
I'm like,
I've
"How
got
did
this-
I say it?"
these
I've
are
got this-
Colorado gas stations.
Wait.
Conoco.
I say Conoco.
I say Conoco.
Okay, Conoco. That's how I
Buc-ee's.
say it too.
Buc-ee's counts. Maverick.
Come and go.
Quick Trip.
Shell.
Costco.
Shamrock.
Safeway.
I might be
Lose.
All right, Olivia, go. Paul's out.
King Supers.
Sam's Club.
Costco.
I already said Costco. You got another one?
My Mart.
Flying J.
Sap Bros.
Sinclair.
St. Clair. There's a St. Clair right down the street from my house.
Loves.
Loves is good.
I'm
Walmart.
impressed by you two.
Walmart
This is
has
incredible.
gas?
Walmart. There was one by my house that used to have gas. I don't know.
I've seen one with gas. Yeah.
Oh gosh. 7-Eleven. Wait, did we say? We
No,
didn't.
I don't think we said
7-Eleven.
7-Eleven.
Murphy's.
Oh no.
This is incredible.
This is hot. I didn't realize I had it in me. Oh no. God, I can picture
I
the
mean,
sign.
you mentioned one, but we haven't said it yet. I mean, we were just talking about it.
Oh, wait.
I mean, we mentioned a lot.
I already said Quick Trip.
Did you?
I don't think we've said it.
okay.
I don't think we did.
Okay,
Damn.
Quick Trip.
Okay, well, now that was going to be mine.
Why'd you tell me then?
I was trying to help you out. Vivo or Vilio? It starts with the V.
I know this. But what is it?
Exxon. I don't know.
Oh God, what is the V one?
I have it written down.
What?
Do you
You're
call
cheating?
it? I mean, I can look at it if you want.
Valvine?
I don't remember what it's called.
I think we're calling it here.
I think it's
that's it. But that was really
Valvoline?
impressive.
Valero. It's a
Valero.
Okay, that's not the one I
That's
was thinking.
definitely it.
So
Wow. That was a
you
lot of-
pump at Western Convenience, Alta Convenience.
We've talked a lot about like great gas stations. We haven't talked much
Circle
about
K.
the case for these limits. Maybe we should spend just a minute on like the benefits. Do you all feel like Denverites are going to be excited? Have you talked to anyone who's like
mean
energized by this proposal to limit gas stations?
Didn't they mention it in Denver not too long ago, and now they're saying it in Lakewood?
Yeah.
I mean, isn't it just another thing about like wanting to make neighborhoods more walkable? things like
Walkability,
that?
Yeah.
climate
I mean, who's walking up and
friendliness.
down West Colfax though?
Yeah, not right now, but
Not
maybe
right
in the
now.
future.
Yeah, it's hard to see it in the future, but you know,
I don't know,
neighborhoods
there's-
change over time.
There's also that argument for, I wish I could remember the term, but it's like infrastructure that's necessary but not attractive and not something someone wants to live next to, like an electrical substation, a gas station. It's like you need those things, but like, do you want to live next to them? Do you want it on your block? Like, probably not. It's like, not in my backyard, gas station edition.
Yeah. I expect there won't be a lot of controversy over this at City Council, to be honest.
No,
I kind of
especially
think
Lakewood. I think they'll pass it.
Lakewood, I think they'll pass it. I think they'll probably pass it in Denver too. I can't imagine anyone sticking up for the gas station, and a few cents on the price of gas. Like, I don't know. I just can't imagine people like really showing up and like speaking out on behalf of Quick Trip.
If the Quick Trip guy's like, "Hey, gas is gonna go up because you're doing this to us," I mean, people might be like, "I just
possible.
don't." I mean, when you hear tax increase, you just vote no. You know, I mean, there's a lot of people that do that.
That's true.
You know, knee jerk reaction. So I mean, they might could be the same thing.
That's true. Well, listeners, honestly, I am curious what you all think about this.
What's your favorite gas station?
What's your favorite gas? No, are there strong opinions on yes or no on this limit of gas stations?
Send
in
us your
Denver?
list of gas stations.
It's the gas station bathroom hotline.
Yeah, call our gas station hotline. Which
The
one do you
number's
like to pee in?
720-500-5418. Again, 720-500-5418. We're going to go for one more break, and we're going to come back with wins and fails of the week.
Talvez você já conheça a gente. Ainda não? Bem, nós somos a Novo Nordisk. Nós ressignificamos os rumos na pesquisa sobre obesidade. Não é à toa. Temos mais de 100 anos de pesquisa em saúde em busca de inovações. Controle de peso ainda é um desafio. Mas agora milhões de pessoas no mundo todo podem trilhar um caminho para uma vida mais saudável. Novo Nordisk. Um novo norte contra a obesidade.
Ideal mesmo para o mundo atual seria fazer o ensino médio junto com o curso técnico, certo? É no Senac que o aluno tem autonomia de verdade, formação cidadã, foco na diversidade, preparação para o Enem, material didático sem taxas e muito mais. Na real, tem tudo que você precisa para se sentir preparado para a vida. Seja para entrar no mundo do trabalho ou te ajudar a decidir o que fazer na faculdade. Quer saber? Senac. Vem comigo. Acesse sp.senac.br/ensino-médio-técnico.
All right, and we're back. It's time for the best way to end the week. Time for the best way to end the year. Normally it's wins and fails, aka Rocky Mountain highs and lows. Today, it's the naughty and nice list of the week. Who's the naughtiest and who's the nicestest? And we're going to talk about them. We each brought a recent local something we think is one of those and the other one. And let's do it. Who wants to start with the thing on their naughty list?
Well, in the email it said wins and fails, not naughty or nice.
I hope you can manage.
Well, I brought a fail.
This is a giant pivot.
Give us your fail. Give us your fail, JD.
Yeah, the Denver comedy community lost David Germain this last week. He lost his battle with cancer. He was a podcaster, comedian, artist, overall good dude. He was one of the first guys I met in the Denver comedy community that was as into podcasts as I am. So it's a big loss. Gonna miss you, buddy. And rest in peace.
R.I.P.
Yeah. David Germain.
Big podcaster, Disjointed Pod. Maybe go give it a listen. And there's also a GoFundMe for his afterlife care, for his family. So if you have the means.
Funny dude. We'll put a link in the show notes.
Cool.
Olivia, your fail that's going on your naughty list and also is a Rocky Mountain low.
There's a bunch of missing cows.
Okay.
So
tell me about the cows.
On the western slope, officials are investigating the disappearance of 180 cattle after several ranchers along the slope reported them missing. So apparently it's mostly baby cows too, which is like very messed up. Don't steal the baby cows. But they were last seen grazing on National Forest land south of Montrose. And then they were reported missing. And so they don't know if they're cattle thieves to blame or like maybe
what
if
about all the wolves they reintroduced into that area?
Could it be the wolves, huh?
How could they really kill 180 cows?
They love baby cows specifically, Olivia.
Gosh. Well, so they're trying to figure out if there's like a cow stealer ring or like what's going on here. But yeah, I guess this was the part that kind of like got me is these cows just kind of like chill out there most of the year. They're just vibing, eating grass, doing cow stuff. And then like this time of the year, they're like, oh, we better go get the cows. And then they're like, hey, that's not as many cows as we used to have.
So it could have happened like any time.
Yeah, they don't really know, but apparently it's very expensive. It's hundreds of thousands of dollars.
180 cows. Yeah, I mean,
worth
you
of
could buy a
missing
cow
cows.
for like $20,000, I think, when I looked up the steer prices. Well, maybe this is different because it's baby cows.
Yeah.
Save it for the stock show, Paul.
I know. We'll be talking about that a lot in
But
January.
yeah, so big fail to whoever or whatever's stealing 180 cows. Bring them back.
That is a
Bring them
fail.
back for Christmas.
They are definitely on the naughty list.
Cows home.
All right, I'll go. So this one's kind of serious, and it's about politics. There was a new poll out this week from an organization called Healthier Colorado. That's like a nonprofit that advocates for like public health things, but they commissioned a poll from Magellan Strategies on the 2026 governor's race, which longtime listeners know I've been, already thinking about previewing, paying attention, asking people. But they did something I have to give them a fail for, which is they polled specific names of potential candidates, and they chose these people based on anonymous sources. And I emailed them and I asked, who are your sources? And they did not tell me. Anonymous. So we are left to think, who are these people? Are they allies of these potential candidates that were on this list? Is this someone putting their finger on the scale for any of these candidates? So they get my fail this week for that, because I do not like these anonymous sources used to pick candidates, to put people in front, put people's names in the conversation, especially this early. I just think that's so inappropriate. That being said,
do you think anyone's paying attention though?
I don't know. I think a lot of people care. I mean, political insiders probably care.
This feels really early.
For normal people, I think it's probably really early.
I was waiting for you to say it.
Political insiders.
Hey, mark that on your bingo, your CityCast bingo. Paul mentioned political insiders.
We're going to talk about wins now. Olivia, you want to start with a win? I mean, who's on your nice list?
Who's on my nice list? So this is a story from the AP about capybaras taking their turn as the holiday season's it animal. I love this.
Sorry, reindeer.
Well, so basically the story is just about the rise of like toy sales and how every year kind of has an it animal. They were like, last year was the axolotl. They're like, nobody knew what an axolotl was. And then we started making plushies of them and everybody loved it. So
this is great.
This is, as a person who is a stuffed animal advocate, I just really appreciated this story, just talking about each animal kind of taking their spotlight. And apparently in the first 9 months of this year, sales of plush animals were up 115% from the same time in 2019. So I'm just happy that it's the stuffed animal revolution. And apparently one of the things they're saying is like the reason they're having these weird exotic animals, not just like your basic bear and stuff, is adults are much more into stuffed animals now. It's like an item of comfort that adults are seeking out, as well as other toys. So like, I don't know. I just thought this was a huge win for adults who like to collect stuffed animals and stuff. It's like, you're not alone. This story's telling you there's other people doing it too. So shout out capybara for winning the animal
looks like
of
a
the
guinea
year.
pig if anybody's wondering what a capybara
They're huge
looks
though.
like.
They're big. They're like the size of like a lab.
A baby cow.
Yeah.
We should sell blue horse ones.
Well, that's what I was asking. I'm like, what would Denver's, stuffed animal would be?
Blue horse with red eyes.
You think?
We legally can't call it Lucifer.
I was also thinking about like the prairie dogs. I don't know. That was just a thing when I moved here. I didn't think that they were going to be here.
All
and
over.
They are cute. Some people don't like them.
They're a nuisance apparently.
Yeah.
But
the noise is like chirping.
Well, the holes.
The
they
holes.
Make horses fall in them, break their legs.
Free moat.
That's a whole nother thing. Great win, Olivia. So plushy capybaras on the nice list.
Plushy capybaras and plushies for adults. Winning.
JD, you want to give us your...
Sure. My win, or on the nice list, is Christmas Spirit in Denver.
Yeah, where are you feeling it?
Is it high?
Yes, I think so. Because Denver not only has one Christmas station, but 3 this year.
On the radio?
On the radio, yeah. Like I said, I drive around a lot. We can only listen to the radio. I listen to Christmas music exclusively after Halloween.
Oh.
All the way up into probably mid-January. So there's Cozy 101, obviously, Denver's Christmas station.
The king.
Okay, love it. But there's also 101.5, Denver's Christmas Star.
Oh.
And there's 101.9 Way FM. Those are a little more religious, okay? Their DJs say a little more religious things in between stuff.
They're trying to keep the Christ in Christmas.
Yeah, they are. But when Cozy 101's having their commercials, switch over to Way FM real quick and then bring it back over.
Strategy.
When they're done.
There you go. That's
All
a
right.
good.
Good to know.
That's a good
I
tip.
will listen to Christmas music. I mean, it's a way to do it. It's something I've done since I was a kid. So
Wow, now we have a list of the
really
stations.
great. I love that.
I love seeing the lights all around Littleton when I'm driving around down Broadway. It's great. I love it.
There has been one thing. I mean, like I've mentioned before, I've been living up in Mead at my mother-in-law's house. But this small town of Mead, they have one giant tree in their main park, and they deck it all out in Christmas lights, and you can see it when you turn off the highway, which is like 1.5 miles from the town. And every time I get off the highway after driving 1.5 hours back up there from Denver, it's nice. It's like, oh yeah.
Do you remember
people live here and
the
care
tree
about
in
it.
Arvada that got like ripped out of the ground a couple of years? They had like
No.
a tree like this. Do you remember that? They had like a
ripped
big
out?
town tree that they would decorate every year. And then there was a huge
Dang.
storm and it like flew it away. And then they were like, we must rebuild. Anyway.
I wish Castle Rock was feeling that Christmas spirit. They're just calling the cops on each other for light displays.
Ho, ho, ho.
Ridiculous. All
Some
right.
Grinches in Castle Rock.
Seriously. Who's going on the nice list? The Denver Broncos.
Yay.
I'm getting stares from you too. Probably most of our audience feels that way too. But I mean, as soon as people listen to this, they have a game tonight as we record, but they've probably clinched a playoff berth for the first time in 10 years.
That's a big if, Paul.
It's
No way, they're
looking very
90%
likely.
likely, I heard somewhere.
Who are they playing?
The Chargers.
I always root for the home team. I hope they do well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've been fun to watch
Boo
this year.
Kansas City Chiefs.
Nope. Chiefs fan.
Boo the Raiders.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
boo the
there
Raiders.
you
Come on,
But
boo the Cowboys.
All right, but my real win, I just wanted to say something here at the end of the year. This is our last news show of the year.
Oh, really?
We're going to replay some of our favorite episodes next week. We're taking some time off. But my win, the real nice list here is the CityCast Denver community. I was really feeling it this week. Me and Deep Singh Badesh, our politics contributor, moderated this debate for the vacancy election Tuesday night at Town Hall Collaborative. So thanks to Matt, Denise, and Lauren, and everyone else at Town Hall, because you all are the best. It was such a fun event. But everyone who came up to me and said hello, said nice things. And then everybody who we've heard from just the whole year. It's been just such a great year. I'm just so glad to be a part of this thing and that you all choose to be here with us. And we've got so many exciting things coming next year. Hopefully more live events, probably at Town Hall. We got other great stuff cooking. Can't wait to share with y'all. But thank you to everybody who was a part of this. Thanks for listening, being a part of this community. And thank you, JD.
Yeah, CityCast is where I get my news. I listen every day. I appreciate it. And hopefully you guys keep going strong.
And if you do want to become a member and support us and help us stay strong, you can go to membership.citycast.fm. But wow, what a weird show today. Olivia, JD, thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
See you next time.
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Happy Kwanzaa.
And all that.
That's all for the year here on CityCast Denver. Our producers this week were Selena C.A. Reynolds, Lizzie Goldsmith, Olivia Jewel Love, and me, Paul Caroli. Peyton Garcia writes our morning newsletter, Hey Denver. Bree Davies is our host. Our music is by Los Mocochetes, with additional mixing by Tyler Lindgren. If you haven't already, subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts, follow us on Instagram at CityCast Denver, and tell the Aurora Police Chief, whose name is Todd Chamberlain, about us the next time you see him. You can sign up for that daily newsletter I mentioned and learn more about us at denver.citycast.fm. We also would love it if you joined and became a member and supported the show that you just listened to at membership.citycast.fm. And just one last time from me and everyone at CityCast, happy holidays, happy new year. See you in 2025. Thank you all so much for listening. See you next time.
Hey, Paul, tell us what that Denver Illuminati Christmas party's like. You can take your Zyns when you go.
What are you talking about?
Paul is notoriously in the Denver Illuminati. All right, he won't let me in. He says it's too
Invite
exclusive. Yeah, invite only. He won't invite me.
No comment.